Hi everyone, I'm Jack. Welcome to the official IslesDen YouTube channel. We're going to be doing a lot more Islanders post-game show and podcasting content for this upcoming season, so if you haven't already, please like and subscribe. You can also find my weekly podcast on Twitter at Isles House, co-hosted by myself at IslesDen, Ethan at EthanGSN, and Rocco at Pizza Sports Guy, all on Twitter. Thank you for joining me.
Isles post game, back at it again. Myself, Jack, Data, Dom. How are we doing, Dom?
Dude, we're doing well. Love to see it. A nice win to cap off the road trip, and we're coming home.
We are finally coming home, and I actually am coming home the same time the Islanders are tomorrow morning. Getting that flight from California back to New York for the holidays. Definitely going to check out UBS for the first time this year. But the Islanders end a 7-game road trip that I think many of us looked at before as just a gauntlet where we would probably be happy to pick up 2 wins, 3 wins. They doubled that. They got 6 wins. The last one coming tonight, and just really, I would say in a statement fashion against a Detroit team that has a pretty good record actually, but I don't know, the eye test with them, that it never really gets me, but the game itself kind of got off to a little bit back and forth. I would say the first few minutes. I feel like in a lot of these Islanders wins, you can agree or disagree, but I feel like it always starts with either Riddick or Sorokin making like 1 or 2 like pretty good saves to keep it scoreless.
Yep, that's the first note I have in my whole thing. Slow start for the Islanders. Sorokin robs Confer. And then we go on the power play because Confer slashes Holmstrom.
That first sequence of the game, like I feel like that's happened so many different times throughout this good stretch they've had. But it goes, they actually get a power play early on. It looks pretty good, but they don't score. And then a couple minutes later, something that I noticed upon replay watching the first goal, you see Marco Casper of the Red Wings trying to exit the zone, get over the red line, and Adam Boquist actually lays the body, takes the puck, springs it right up to Shabanov. Shabanov across the blue line is about to get leveled, and he does get leveled, but he gets the pass through, and Cal Ritchie unfortunately doesn't pass the puck across to get Dom his Zizekas first goal bet, which
never gonna win that.
I actually predicted that too, because I was thinking I want to get Maxim Siplikov in this lineup so badly that I know Zizekas is going to somehow score tonight. And what did he do? He had 3 points, but
I'll keep betting it till he sits. So
yeah, just got to you're paying for Maxim Siplikov's minutes at this point. But it was 1-0 Islanders, and I believe still in the first period, Ritchie wins a faceoff. Zizekas kind of brushes it with his stick a little bit. I mean, I don't know if I looked at it. He must have like barely touched that puck, but Shabanov throws it right over Jonathan Gibson.
Yeah, Zizekas set like a little pick off the faceoff, and I guess he touched it, maybe went off his skate. You don't have to do much to get credited with the assist, but he did provide time and space for Shab to rip that shot, and I think it went off Albert Johansson's stick because it did look like it fluttered a little on the Detroit broadcast, which is what I was watching for the first 2 periods. They insisted they were just trying to defend Gibson, which I get. Man. But the Islanders had won the previous faceoff. Ritchie got thrown out of the dot. It had to go to Zizekas. Zizekas told the guys where to stand. Won it right back to Ritchie, I believe, because it's the right shot. They saved it, took a faceoff from the other dot, ran a set play and won. And they score on that one.
Yeah, man. It was that Detroit broadcast. I was watching it too, and it was just depressing at one point. Like they just sounded like
I switched it.
Yeah, they wanted that game to end so bad. I actually felt really bad for their broadcasting team tonight because like there was just nothing positive going on. But in the second period, really early on, Lucas Raymond, probably the best player on the Red Wings. Second best. We'll give Larkin.
He's the most skilled, but he's probably their most skilled player. But I'd say Larkin is still all around their best player. But it's arguable for sure.
We're gonna have to dive into Detroit a little bit because when you really dive into it, it's pretty ugly. And Raymond, though, he's really good. He gets a breakaway on Sorokin, and for some reason, these breakaways in regulation time for Sorokin they're at a better clip than the shootouts. He makes the save.
Yeah, no, those were auto goals for the last couple of years. It felt like every time there was somebody in alone on a breakaway, they'd snipe him. He wouldn't. He's coming out. He's being aggressive. Guys are missing the net because of the pressure, and he's getting his stick on the puck. It's been way better. Or I don't have stats for that. I'll look it up eventually. But it feels like it's different.
Yeah, it does, and he feels
You know, because Dobson's not on the team anymore.
That's true. He's not there to lower Dobson's PDO, not at all. After that, Detroit just gets really like I just watched this goal trying to like analyze it. The analysis is Detroit literally just played terribly in their own zone. Comes to Barzell, he rips it 3-0. And then 3-0 lead, the game's not over, but when Polak off a Horvat face-off win, Polak makes an excellent feed right back to him. He one-times it to tie McKinnon, Draisaitl, and Morgan Geekie for the NHL goal lead. He gets robbed later in the game too, which I was like, shit. He could have actually been
late
number
in the
one.
third. There was a phantom assist for Heineman on that goal too. I didn't watch the replay a lot of times. He did touch it right off the face-off.
Yeah, he did.
I thought it was Horvat to Polak to Horvat, but
yeah, he did. He dragged it like to Polak back to the point. It was a really good look by Polak there. Cool. Then it was 4-0, and like this game is just like, of course it's an enjoyable experience as an Islanders fan, but my God, it just felt so dead in that building. Listening to the Detroit broadcast, it was all the life was sucked out of that place.
Credit to the Detroit players. They did push. They did shoot. They got zone time. There was a great shift for the Kane line because they switched things up. Mickey Redmond pointed it out that they put Kane with Comfer, and they got some momentum. But Sorokin was good. The Islanders protected the house. The middle of the ice there's nothing to be had apart from the two defensive breakdowns on the breakaways. But a lot of credit to the defense, a lot of credit to the goaltending, and the Islanders capitalizing on their chances early, which they usually do not do.
You know, it was interesting. I think Detroit this season had a game against St. Louis where they were losing 4 or 5-0, where they came back in the third period and won it. That did cross my mind at one point. Like, this Red Wings team is going to feel like they're not out of it.
They mentioned it on the broadcast. Actually, I thought it happened this year, or it might have been last year. But then they mentioned it on the broadcast that they've made a 4-goal comeback already this season and won. I'm like, all right, well, I didn't need to hear that right now.
Yeah, and the few times where it was possible for them to start getting anything going, I mean, they were just shut down by Sorokin. As you said, defensively, the Isles were pretty sound, and then in the third, Shabanov. Cizikas makes a few nice plays to win the puck. It was kind of a vintage night for Casey. He actually had 3 assists. He was winning battles. He looked a little bit more motivated, maybe, I would say. Like, nobody ever really questions his effort, but he was the only forward taken out of the rotation. I believe it was Sunday in Colorado. So maybe he's waking up a little, and Shabanov splits 2 defenders, goes backhand, and just makes a move that we're not accustomed to seeing too much over the last few years, man.
Dude, just split the defense right through the middle, and I'm sure he wanted to roof that, but he didn't even have to. He got it over the pad on the backhand. I think that was his 4th point, right? 4-point night.
It was his 4th point of the night. First
Crazy.
Islander rookie to record a 4-point night since Matthew Barzell did in 2018. And believe it or not, I tweeted that after 3 points, and it would have been the same thing after 5 points, because Barzell, for whatever reason, his rookie year had like 3 5-point nights.
Well, we had a top 10 power play that year, that was very helpful. And he was playing second line and just feasting on shallow lineups.
Yeah, and he was
which Detroit is kind of like. Detroit's not a deep forward group. We have, well, apart from the Pajot Lee Duclair line wasn't great tonight, but our forward group is deep. I don't love the line combinations that we're running right now. Obviously, the 4th line, awesome, and the Horvat line wins every night. But we have a luxury at the forward position that we're able to scratch a high skill guy right now and kind of just be okay. We have an elite goaltender, and we have 3 defensemen that I'm confident in right now. It's probably not. It's probably 2, but it's fine because everybody is buying in.
I First thing I want to acknowledge first, just to get it out of the way, because the goaltending usually isn't the story in a 5-0 win, and it's not really, but the way Sorokin was making some of those tough ones look a little bit easy was the first time I've seen that in a long time. And it just is real. I think David Riddick taking a little bit of the load off of him, being able to start Friday in Utah. And then what was it? It wasn't against Colorado. He started in Dallas. He started in Dallas, and
Right.
they're winning these games with him. Riddick has allowed 2 goals or less in 5 of his 7 starts. And he's like,
Yep.
I know you're going to like this one. I think in goals saved above expected per 60 minutes with goalies with his same amount of starts, which is 7. I think he's top 10 in the NHL, which is
Rick's played
crazy.
7 games already.
Yeah, he's played 7 games,
That's
and
awesome.
he's
7 out of 21. That's a split unheard of.
and with the fancy with analytical stats, I don't know what it is, but I really do trust the goalie goals saved above expected metric. Like that one just makes sense. High danger chance, one you're not supposed to save, but he saves it. Like what do you think of that metric?
Over time, the larger the sample size, it tends to be pretty accurate for goaltending. On a game by game basis, I don't love it. Being that tonight it said, I'm sure Gibson's goal saved above expected tonight was like -3 or something. And you look at the goals he gave up, and they're deflected off sticks. It's like it doesn't tell the whole story. But the larger the sample size, just like with analytics, things are going to balance out. The bounces you don't get, you're going to get sometimes. And I agree that goals saved above expected is probably the best way, just in general, to evaluate a goaltender based on the environment he's playing in.
Yeah, and I fully agree with that. So Sorokin looked great. And with the defensive, with your comment about the defense, where you feel comfortable with 2, the thing I like about it is they're at least putting the guys that I'm comfortable with the guys who I wouldn't want without them. Like weird way to explain it, but like I don't want
Right.
D'Angelo next to anyone else beside Pellick or Schaefer, and he's with
Right.
Pellick, and I think he looks so much better than in the beginning of the season with Romanov. And the second one, Polak, I think, has been okay this season. And obviously, next to Schaefer, you're more than likely to win your minutes, but he hasn't been winning them with Schaefer analytically.
It's been better recently. His offense seems to be back. His vision
Awesome.
seems to be back, which is nice. He didn't have it last year. It was just bombs into the glass. It was turnovers. It was battles he didn't win. This year, Pollock's vision seems to be good because he is setting guys up this year. He's getting the feed to Bo. I know that's probably a set play off the faceoff, but to put it on his tape as he's backing towards the circle to just rip a one-timer, awesome.
Yeah, I think he's really looked better this season. Like last season, it was like that's one of the worst contracts in the league. Now I think it's not the best contract, but I think
But
he's
no, it's not
playing.
even the worst contract on the team anymore.
Yeah, we'll pass on the worst contract.
No, we're not gonna dance on his grave.
Yeah, we're not gonna do that.
I
Wow.
wish him the best.
The Islanders also this season, I looked this up too, because this game was kind of boring after it was like 4-0.
Oh no, yeah, there were times I was tuning out.
Yeah, Adam Boquist with him in the lineup. Do you know their record this season?
You wouldn't be asking if it was under. It's probably hilarious. It's probably like, are we like 5-1 or something?
6-1 with Adam Boquist.
Yeah.
And the thing is with Boquist, like he's not like that. He hasn't been that noticeable when he plays, which I always make.
They shelter the crap out of him though.
When you're a defenseman and you're not noticed, that's actually fine with me. Like I would rather that than it be obvious and glaring at times, like it could be with D'Angelo, like it could be with others. But yeah, the defense right now is okay. I do agree with you. The line combinations wouldn't be my first choice, but how are you gonna drastically make changes when they just keep winning games somehow? It's like it still looks like it doesn't work too. It's pretty crazy, which is why I'm excited to look into some of these analytics tonight. And like I think we're on the same page where the first line is Palmieri, Heineman, and Palmieri, Heineman, Horvat. I would much rather just put it back to how it was to start the year with Horvat, Heineman, and Drouin, but for whatever reason, was liking this mix.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like the way the lines are composed right now, obviously, yeah, you're not going to change a winning lineup, especially one that's just won 5-0 and just had a great road trip. But ideally, I'd still prefer to have Barzell on Horvat's wing so you can load it up and have a true top line. But the depth they're getting right now, the guys are bought in. They're defending well. The structure is good. Mickey Redmond shouted out the Islanders' neutral zone structure today, which is awesome. Mickey Redmond's the best.
He's a
He
great
he,
announcer.
he loved their 2-3 setup in the neutral zone, which is basically you have to dump the puck in and you have to go get it. That's basically what the Islanders are allowing in the neutral zone. And with the forward lines, they're not going to change it when it's winning. I don't love it, but hey, what are we going to do?
Yeah. The first line is fine. The first line, as you said, when you have Bo Horvat playing the way he's playing, and Heineman even too, with the way he wins battles and the way he's able to get shots through, and his shot is a pretty good release, you're gonna win your minutes. But the second line right now, I don't like Holmstrom next to Barzell, and I feel like I don't think I know one person that would disagree that Holmstrom and Pajot are such a good duo. I'm not sure why you'd break that up, but somehow it just continues to work, and it's kind of like mind blowing. Like Barzell gets one chance on the tape tonight, he just buries it. Like, what are you gonna
Right.
do, man?
No, I think the obvious play is you just flip Holmstrom and Duclair because you
I
know
agree.
Pajot works with Lee, and you know that Duclair can finish, and Duclair
Yep.
loves to finish around the net. And Barzell is going to create time and space for Duclair to get lost down low and get those chances. So again, we're probably wasting time on this. It's not going to
Yeah.
change. They're winning. Was a pretty hard headed guy. That's how it is. But yeah, that's what I'm seeing.
Yeah, the one line I do want to talk about a little bit right before we get into the analytical data on it. That fourth line of Richie, Cizikas, and now Shabanov, that's not going to be a fourth line for long, it feels like, because these guys might get bumped up in the lineup if there's a loss, if there's just a game where someone's not playing well. It's really like a resurgence for it, and maybe they're better off. I mean, I'm totally fine with having Richie skate against some of the inferior competition, some of the inferior like personnel within the competition. I think that's really helping him develop right now. He looks like he's found himself, and that's just a great thing to see. You can
Right.
see with like a lot of players put in that position, like they started him at second line center and they were like, "You're not ready yet. We'll throw you at 4C." And you could see that shatter someone's confidence. You've seen it all the time, but he's flourished with it, and he has Shabanov now, and it's really fun to watch.
Well, yeah, I think when you get, I don't want to say demoted, when you get demoted to the fourth line, it's basically the coach's way of saying, I want to keep you in, but just simplify your game and basically get back to what the reason you're here. Because you're responsible two-way. You make the smart plays. So you're going to play on the fourth line. But again, I'm looking at the time on ice today. Fourth line played 12 minutes. This was an extremely balanced deployment tonight. There's Barzell, which for some reason I don't. Barzell's going to play 20 minutes every night. I don't know what it is with Wah.
He
He played him like
loves
24 minutes the other night.
he
But
loves watching 13. I
this
can't
has
blame
to
him.
be the most minutes the fourth line's played all season, and
Probably. They
they
were
deserved it.
so
Obviously,
good.
yeah, they were a +4 tonight. And when you tell the fourth line to simplify their game, that plays for Cizikas. He loves that. He wants to get on the forecheck, be the F1, go hit somebody, try to turn the puck over. But that Shabanov is just he wants to do crazy shit, and he got pounded once by Edvinson tonight for trying to dangle around him
Yep.
after he dumped the puck in. And I'm like, you got to pick and choose your spots, especially when you're up 4 goals.
Dude, Detroit hated Shabanov. They were hitting
Yeah.
him extra after a whistle in like the first period. After he scored, they were hitting him after. They were all over Shabanov all night. Eventually, Tony D'Angelo had enough, tried dropping the gloves, which we've seen it with Oliver Wahlstrom years ago. Clearly not his game,
Yeah. No, it's
but
the thought that counts.
yeah, I respect him trying. I mean,
And you know the
these
guys loved it.
yeah, 100%. You saw the bench fired up after that. But yeah, let's do the quiz. So
All right.
as you explained during blowouts, it could be a little bit deceiving because half the game is just Detroit chasing and the Islanders not really exactly fighting for scoring chances. But I'm still
Correct.
curious.
So they are allowing shots but they're not necessarily allowing dangerous shots, which the analytics will lie to you and say that that's basically what's happening. Let me see if I could share this shit.
Yeah, let's see if we can get it up here.
Share screen. I want to make sure I share the right screen. That is that one. Okay. So that's where we stand tonight. Okay, actually, let me scroll down a little bit so you can actually see the bottom.
Yeah, let's see it like this.
All right, that's probably the best I can get. Oh, hold on. Yeah, that's good enough.
Yeah, that's not bad. Travis Hamonic leading the score sheet.
Yeah, Islanders legend Travis Hamonic just ripping bombs from the point, killing possession, but great for analytics.
I'm not looking at the chart actually. I literally just saw that.
Yeah, just poked your head at the chart.
Well, I'm looking down.
Okay, so I'll let you go. We'll do what we always do. We just go by the centers because that's the easiest way to divvy up each line. So you've got the Horvat line, the Barzal line, the Pajot line, and the Cizikas line.
Worst line tonight, I'm gonna guess Pajot.
That'd be right. They generated next to nothing, and they allowed a couple of chances. I think they were on for one of the breakaways, but again, we're not really going to complain about any of the lines tonight.
I remember Pajot having like one shot and Lee winning a board battle, but it just kind of felt like they weren't ghosts, but it just
in 6 pages of notes, I don't think I wrote Duclair's name down once.
Yeah, that's been the story for him a decent amount lately, I feel like, but the second worst line I'm gonna guess is Barzell's.
That Barzell's line I would say was the second best line tonight, based on the data, but it's close. The second best line and the third best line are pretty close.
The best line, I'm going with the fourth line.
I agree with you, but they're basically mixed in with the Barzal line as like 2-3, which basically they called it even. They split their minutes. They allowed a bit. They generated a bit. I think there was 1 or 2 shifts where Shabanoff and Cizikas got caught out there with D'Angelo and Boquist, which is DEFCON 5.
Yeah.
So that leaves the Horvat line, which just has been a buzzsaw defensively. Even if they're not generating, they're not allowing you to do anything.
All right, at least I got the worst line. That makes sense. Like the eye test would probably agree with me, but for the defenseman, I mean, I see Schaefer's name up here. I don't think any defenseman played poorly tonight. Mayfield and Pelech I see are at the bottom. Were the pairs kind of like messed up or something? Oh no, Pelech.
The pairs were so mixed up tonight. Well, one of them was because they don't want to play Boquist unless they have to. And they had to because Mayfield got himself thrown out of the game. And then Tony takes a 5-minute major at the end. So the pairs got mixed up. I'm sure if I went with like the splits, I'm sure Mayfield, I know, took multiple shifts with Pelech. I saw Pollock out there with Boquist. It got all mixed up.
Yeah, there was a point. There was a point in the game tonight where I was like, where Pelech wound up for a shot and he couldn't score it. It's like, when is this guy going to score a goal? Like, it just has.
He took one from like the center point. It hit off somebody, came right back to him. So he took another one from the high slot, and it just didn't go.
Yeah, he had a.
This guy can't buy one.
Was it in Colorado the other night where it was in it was right in the slot and he had a golden chance to finish it. There we go. It was like right in the slot. He took like a slap shot and he still didn't score. He's trying everything he can.
I did it before the season. I gotta look again as of right now because I think this might be the record, and it not as far as games. It also might be the record for games, but it's definitely the record for most shots without scoring.
It might be, yeah, because he wins a lot of his minutes, so he's going to be in the right areas. But one thing,
and he shoots. He's not Chris Tanev. He shoots a ton. It just doesn't score.
It's really crazy. Even Pollock tonight. Pollock hasn't scored 1 goal this year, and he had one play tonight where he had his slap shot all wound up, and it just went right to the goalie's chest.
on the right side off the rush.
I thought he was going to bury that for some reason, but I don't know why I expected him to. I mean, his slap shot, you know how everyone always says it misses the net? Like, is that like an accurate statement?
It's been far better the last few years. He's hitting the net. It's just not particularly like going in. And so there's an argument to be made that it's okay that he misses the net as long as it doesn't go off the glass around for a clear. or
Yeah,
potentially an odd man rush the
that's
other
the
way.
worst.
Because
Yeah.
if he's missing the net, that more often than not means he's trying to pick a corner,
Yeah. It's
and it's hard to beat the goalie clean with just a bomb in the NHL these days.
Yeah, Barzell actually was talking about that over the summer on that podcast. I can't remember, but he was talking about how like everyone's always yelling at these guys to shoot, and he's
Yeah,
saying
that's
like,
what the foreplay golf guys, the Barstool guys,
yes, yes,
Borelli and Riggs.
yes. And Barzell was just talking about how he like everyone's always yelling at these guys to shoot, but it's so hard to beat the goalie. And like, it's made me watch
Right.
the game a little bit differently this year of like shot selection and everything like that. Like, there's some guys that'll just throw everything on net, but the way Barzell tries to be deceptive and keep the goalie guessing, like, I've grown to appreciate it a little bit more this year.
Yeah, no, the most dangerous shot in hockey is a cross, a shot, a pass is off of a one timer off of a pass across the slot on the rush. Statistically, the most dangerous shot in hockey.
How many guys on our team have a good shot, have that in their bag? I
Like a
think
flush shot.
Shabanov does.
Well, to make that type of play or to beat a goalie clean, because I think
Beat
we
the
have.
goalie clean.
I think Horvat has that. I think Holmstrom has it. He doesn't use it.
He does have
Um,
it.
I'd say Barzell has it sometimes. It's weird
It is. He did it in
because
Vegas.
yeah,
Yeah, that was
the
crazy.
and then the overtime winner against the Devils. That's just
Yep.
that was an unbelievably skilled play and tight, and just
Yeah.
roofed it from basically from the crease.
Markstrom had no chance on that goal. That was
Yeah.
great. That was a great play by Drouin and Barzell.
Mhm.
One thing I just have to talk about watching this game tonight, like the Red Wings. So this team for years, like, this team's finished. They've just missed the playoffs. They've been a 9 seed. They've been a 10 seed. And, like always with the gaslighting with their fan base and like with all of these so-called experts talking about like Steve Eiserman, like they have a prospect pool that we don't know about, and like these guys are coming up, and like it's been like 3 years of this. And you look at their team for a second. Larkin's not a kid. Raymond's a stud. Their
Right.
left wing, their first line left wing is Patrick Kane at age what, like 37?
Yeah, something like that. He's up there.
You look a little bit deeper under the hood. You
I'd
see
say
you
they have
got
5 dangerous forwards,
you
and
got
then
Comfer.
just guys.
Like these guys though aren't even draft picks. Like you got Comfer there. Remember they had Tarasenko there last year. You got Sherratt playing big minutes. But I mean, both of these
Yeah.
goalies are 100 years old and not that good. Where are all of their prospects? Like,
Well, Casper was busy getting a 10-minute misconduct tonight, and then also he was the one that Tony fought right at the end.
yeah, he was.
Marco Casper's got some sandpaper. He was a lottery pick. He was like 13th pick or something. I
Okay.
think that was in the what year was that? And they have another prospect playing. They have Danielson playing. He was out of the W. Emmett Finney was a mid-round pick. So they have these guys playing middle six roles, some of them playing top six roles. They have Edvinson, who they like on defense. They have ASP, who I like ASP, but he hasn't been good for them so far. And I'm talking about Axel Sandin Pellikka for anybody
Yeah, I
who
know.
doesn't know
So,
what I'm talking about. I know
yep.
you know, but some people
Yeah.
may not. The kid out of Sweden, he was a big time offensive defenseman over there in the SHL, but it's just not coming together. That's what it is.
The
It's
thing
sporadic.
I just don't understand the way they've done business though. Like they traded Roenick. How old's Roenick? 27?
Wait, wait, why don't I know who you're talking about?
Philip Roenick.
Oh, Hronik.
Yeah.
Yeah, Philip Hronik. Yeah, they traded him. He's probably a couple years older than Quinn Hughes, a big
So
right shot defenseman.
They trade him, who they drafted, I'm pretty sure, for this draft pick from Vancouver that turns into that guy. It's like, why don't you just keep your whole? If you're gonna do a rebuild, at least keep some of the guys that you like.
Because he wasn't 32. Yeah, I agree.
I just don't understand how this team operates.
Yeah, because Philip Hronik was a known commodity. You already know that this guy is good.
Yeah.
Why trade it for the 14th overall pick that might be good?
I totally agree. It's like I'm sitting here wondering, and then like they're this great prospect pool and stuff, and you have Kane out there and Comfer, and God, I don't even know if I can remember their fourth line players off the top of my head. But my point is, this team is running this team should be mentioned like with the Sabres of the world. Like they are running an absolute scam. Like this is
Yeah,
not a good.
it's just been a gong show of just random players. They go too crazy in free agency, and more often than not, it hasn't hit. A lot of the draft picks have played okay. It's the gambles he took on UFAs that he's whiffed on.
Here,
It's been your Andrew Cops, it's been your Ben Sherratts. It was
exactly.
who's the guy that everybody in Toronto hates? Justin Hall.
Van
It just didn't
Riemsdyk.
work. It
Van
was
Riemsdyk's on this team. Appleton,
yeah yeah
Rasmussen's been in this.
yeah Mason Appleton. That's right from the Jets.
Yeah, it's
Like they tried a lot, and yeah, they gave JT Comp for big money after the cut with the Avs, and that contract's been a failure. He's a decent player, but he's overpaid and he's being asked to do too much right now. But
yeah,
it's unfortunate.
it's like last year they had that whole thing at the deadline where they're like in the playoff race and Larkin made the comments like we should have added, and Yzerman after the season kind of like roasted him to the press, and it's like, dude, like you're running a scam. This
Yeah.
team isn't progressing year after year. They have like 5 or 6 veterans that are just not good players, and then he just gets away with it because he's Steve Yzerman. If the Sabres lineup, like I would rather look at that. I think it actually is genuinely more promising when you look at some of the guys that they have, like Darlene Thompson, even their second line of like Doan, and they got Quinn.
Doan and Benson and Jack Quinn and
Yeah,
guys like that. They have much more. They show much more promise of high end skill that could potentially lead to success as a team, not just individually.
yeah. Just wanted to make that quick point, though. We can get to some comments since this isn't a Red Wing show, but I couldn't get over that scam. Remember Isles in the Sound. Check them out, guys. They do great work covering Bridgeport every goal.
Joey and Kenny, they're really good.
Joey and Kenny. Remember last year when we couldn't beat Detroit? Now we're 2-0 and outscoring them like 11-2 in the 2 games. Yeah, I just remember we were talking about that right before we came on, right? Like they lost in like the most frustrating ways to them last year.
Yeah, we lost a 1-0 game where we outshot them like 34 to like 12 or something. I think we lost a 2-1 game, and then maybe like a 3-1 game, all in regulation as well. We got no points against them, and Detroit was bad. Like we outplayed them every game and got no points.
There was a game last year in Detroit where the Islanders were winning. I want to say 1-0 late, and it was one of those games where they blew a lead, but they didn't even get a point. Like they lost it in the last second.
Yeah, I remember it was Lucas Raymond.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Who did they have last year? Was it Reimer?
It's pretty disgraceful.
Reimer who shut us out last year? Did they have him?
I think it was James Reimer. That's honestly embarrassing. Zeker moved the puck to Shabby off that face-off. Yeah, like okay, I didn't see it so close. I didn't get a great replay of it, but okay, good for him. He's got.
And when I sit down and watch the actual condensed game again tonight, and see everything, I'm sure he deserved the assist. They've been pretty vigilant about giving guys points when they deserve them, and crediting guys with shots when they deserve them. So I'm sure he did touch it. Good for Casey. 3 assists tonight. Awesome.
3 assists. His first 3-point game since 2017. I was in high school. That long ago. Isles making new haters every game. Gotta love it. I mean, yeah. Goodness graciously 5. I don't know your full name. That's too much for me to read.
Goodness gracious, Telia. 5004.
Okay, nice.
I could have botched that as well, but that's what it looks like to me.
Yeah, who knows?
But yeah, well, making haters. If you ain't got haters, you ain't popping. Shout out Robert Saleh for that terrible quote.
Yeah.
But,
oh God,
it's a song. I forget the song, but yeah, no. If you play well, people like to hate on success. Well, at least everybody's least favorite football team's the Chiefs. Nothing pisses
off other teams more than when your young dynamic players are out there like making their team look silly, and Schaefer does it a lot, and Shabanov was the one who was doing it tonight, and you could just see Detroit getting so pissed off, like you're not supposed to be able to do that at your size, kid, and just throwing him around. But I'm trying to think, I feel like tonight, Dallas, literally last game, that game was it physical until the Rantanen hit?
Well, yeah, it was considered a clean game because there were no penalties called in the first 40, but there were a couple infractions throughout the game. I wouldn't have called. There were no scrums or anything, but then in the third, the game got out of hand with the stupid ejection of Bo Horvat on the double minor.
Yeah.
And then obviously the Romanov play. That game got out of hand. It became a ref show late, and we did deserve to win. That wasn't a goal. That was goaltender interference.
No way. But people, actually, I'll ask for your take on it. That hit, the Rantanen to Romanov one,
Yeah.
that was a big topic in here the other night. What did you think of that? Did you think it was a dirty play? Did you think Mayfield was responsible?
I think they're giving a little too much. They're putting too much stock in Mayfield's contact with Mikko Rantanen. Mikko Rantanen's 6'4", 220. Mayfield got into him a tiny bit with space. Rantanen didn't even fall. He fell because he hit the boards after Romanov hit the boards. He was not that off balance.
It's there's a part of that play where Mayfield's not touching Rantanen anymore, and Rantanen's pushing off of Romanov when Romanov's heading into the board. So
obviously we're biased, so it's never going to be a fair assessment from us. But there is definitely that it affected it for sure, Mayfield.
Yeah,
and the result sucks. I hope Romanov's okay. I don't know if you know what the actual diagnosis is yet, but I thought it was a clavicle. I thought it was a broken collarbone. The way he skated off with his arm drooped like that, that's usually a sign. But either way, I'm not a doctor, so I wish for a speedy recovery and a full recovery for Romanov. I
would say, I'm purely guessing here, but he won't be back this year. I don't think so. He could not even. That was just a tough scene, man.
Yeah, awful.
Sloppy tuna. That Shabanov goal was so filthy. Yeah, I mean, you could see him before he got injured. Those first few games, you could see the dynamic talent he has, and like him trying to set plays up, even when the game's close. So to see him finally put one fully together like that, pissing off that whole Red Wings team, that was just awesome. What a player.
Yeah, there's not much tape on him yet, so maybe seeing him on the fourth line wearing a weird number, teams are underestimating him. I'm sure they're told before the game just to who everybody is and whatnot, but to see him cut through two defensemen, dangle the goalie, and bury it backhand, that was awesome. That reminded me of just a player going beast mode basically, and I'm scoring here no matter what. And I remember Brock Nelson did it last year against Colorado. He got tripped and then still dangled a guy while on his knees and shelved it. That reminded me of just an insane effort, and it worked out.
Yeah, he is so fun to watch. This team, between him up front, Schaefer on the blue line, and the little additions like Drouin and Heineman. I mean, this free agency class, throw Riddick's name in it. It has through a month and a half. I wish we were deeper into the season so I could say it as an afterthought, but this free agency class has been unbelievable so far.
Yeah, no, it's looked really, really good.
Walter Mikulski, didn't Pollock have a 5-point night that year as a rookie too? He did. He actually did. And when I was reading through the records,
you would know this.
Yeah, well, no, I was reading through the records. I had no idea. When I noticed Shabanov had the 3-point night, I'm thinking, okay, when did Schaefer do this? And I realized he didn't have a 3-point night. He's done a bunch of things, but not a 3-point night. Mm-hmm. So I went to go find the last skater to have a 5-point night, to have a 3-point night as a rookie. It's Barzal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He had 7 3-point games. No, 8, 9. He had 9 3-point games as a rookie. But in the middle of all of it, you just see Ryan Pollock's name in a 7-3 win over the Chicago Blackhawks. He had a goal and 4 assists.
That's awesome. I feel like I should probably watch that highlight.
Yeah, me too.
I have a better time.
I can't believe that happened. Bean, Burrito, Enjoyer, Darsh playing 5D chess, letting Cizikas farm off points with Richie and Shabby to boost that value. In all seriousness, amazing game. This is an underrated point. Get Cizikas cooking with these two, and then bring up the big guns to play on this line, because I mean, if this is like the biggest indicator. This is one of the most underrated indicators of knowing how good a player is. You have a guy like D'Angelo, he's struggling. Throw him next to Pelech, he's fine. Even Holmstrom, throw him next to Pajot. Everybody next to Pajot, they're playing well.
That's been the secret sauce. But this one just and credit to Cizikas as well, because this line it's balanced. It's a balanced line. You have a two-way center with great vision and an underrated shot. And he's still obviously 20 years old. So we're still learning more and more about Cal Ritchie each game. Shabanov, we're learning more and more about each game. He's undersized, but he doesn't play scared. And then Cizikas is your crash and bang, do the dirty work. I'll go get the puck. I'll be the first in the zone. And if it pops out to me and I have an open net to shoot at, I might score, but you guys do the scoring.
Yeah, it's just incredible to see. Like,
it's like it's Uncle Leo vibes. It's Emil Heineman on the top line vibes. It's a guy that plays a simple, predictable game, helping two skilled guys.
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, Ritchie and Shabanov, two guys that are just, man, did they ever cook tonight? Palfy, I think changes are really easy regardless of tonight's results. Shabanov has to go up, Holmstrom down, Cizikas scratched, and Siplikov in. See, if I was in charge of the team, I would actually make, I think, 100% of these changes. What about you?
You can't, obviously you don't scratch Cizikas after
you
tonight.
Can't.
And I could see Shab going up in the lineup, but I think they want to keep the vibes how they are. And I know if it was up to Pal, Holmstrom down doesn't mean scratch. That means AHL. It's not gonna happen. And yeah, I agree that Holmstrom is kind of killing offense on the Barzell line, but in it, like, conceptually what he's saying does make sense, and I do agree with it. But right now, no chance.
Yeah, conceptually, I want to rephrase it. Conceptually and in general, I completely agree with this. Will this happen in reality is a completely different question. And
correct.
Palfy, you know what's going to happen. You know what's going to happen. Nothing's going to change, man. And he goes, Palfy again, the lineup changes. Tonight's lineup was different than last game regardless, and Siplikov was big on the first goal Tuesday. Siplikov played a great game in Dallas. The thing that really kills me there is he actually made a really similar move as Shabanov did tonight around a couple Dallas Stars defenders, and if he scores that, you know he's in the lineup, and it's just like, oh,
yeah, the Discord went nuts and everybody was saying, I'm like, dude, let the guy fucking play, man. Let the guy play. He can do stuff. But
yeah,
he's in the doghouse. He's only gonna play when guys are hurt or if there's an emergency.
Yeah, the part that really hurts is he's only going to play with Cizikas, and he doesn't have the speed that Ritchie and Shabanov have to be able to
wants to slow the game down.
Yeah, it's just it's a really, really bad combination with those two, and that's where the trouble is. Like, I think this is going to end up being a player that flourishes on another team, because I don't know how much longer he's going to want to deal with this.
Dude, he'd put up fucking 70 points in the AHL.
Yeah. KHL.
Yeah, that too.
Ponyboy Curtis X, if you guys were watching Detroit broadcast, Butchie the Homer was actually on Detroit side for that embellishment call. I'm proud of you, Butch. He was pitching about how you can't have both. I nearly pooped myself. Yeah, Butch hasn't been on the call as much this season, as far as only a couple.
But he's been on this trip though, or he's been on half of this trip. I'm trying to think of which he definitely did. He did last game, I think. So I was like, oh, hey, Butch is there.
Yeah, when I saw he was doing less games this year, I thought for sure he would only do.
He only do home games.
Only do home games.
Yeah, I agree.
President Lee, you don't trade a player like Emil Heineman. You absolutely do not.
Yeah, that's what folks are saying. That's what's going around. You don't trade a player like Emil Heineman.
I can't believe that catchphrase.
It's a bit, but it's not dishonest.
It's crazy.
I don't know. We haven't really seen it, but I'm 100% confident that if he gets taken off the top line, he'll be perfectly fine in the bottom six.
Oh my God. Yeah. His game could translate anywhere.
Yeah, he'll work his bag off every shift, win pucks, hit everyone, and just rip bombs. And it's going to be, he plays the most fan favorite way that you could possibly play, apart from dropping the gloves.
When you look at the storylines or the stats of this team so far, like, Shabanov's come in, he's been really good. Ritchie's now coming into his own. He's been pretty good. Riddick's been pretty good. Drouin pretty good. Heineman with this. I think if you told me all of these things before the season, the one I would This is what I expected the least. Okay. I didn't expect this fourth line guy from Montreal who has like 10 career goals to come
Yeah,
in and match his goal total in a month. Like, I wasn't happy when the Dobson trade first happened, but I am just, you can't. You can't complain about the results of it because you have two prospects that you don't know what they're going to become, and it already feels like the trade is almost even without them, which is
right.
just borderline insanity.
Well, yeah, he's gonna cool off. He's not gonna. I don't think he's gonna play at this level all season.
He won't.
But it's funny because even the nights where he's not scoring, he's a useful player anyway.
Yeah, he wins pucks to get Horvat possession. When he was with Barzell and Horvat, I remember he stuffed up the Boston in the neutral zone. They went the
Yeah,
other way and they scored. And it's just all of the little things he does to create. He's
yeah,
not exactly facilitating, but it's pretty
yeah,
crazy.
he's great in all three zones. He's fast. He's physical, and yeah, the only thing it's penalties, but that's gonna happen when that's your play style. It is so hard to play effective defensively and not take penalties.
Yeah, there was like one of the legit really big Montreal accounts, Grant McCag, I believe his name is. He tweeted out the other day like the Dobson trade, great trade for us, but I do wish that we didn't give up a guy like Emil Heineman because we never even gave him a chance in our top six. And when you look at that release, and it's
Yeah,
just like, wow.
no,
Um,
he's a driver, and he's got top six skill.
President Lee, I don't know if I think this question, I don't know if I could take this question seriously. Revisionist history, would you want Shabanov or
Ishkakov, Ruslan
Ishakov?
Ishkakov.
Ishakov, both are small for NHLers. I would want Shabanov 7 days a week and
Yeah,
100 times on Sunday.
Ish plays small. Shab doesn't. Shab's much more confident. He wants the puck, but he's not completely useless when he doesn't have it. And that was the problem with Ruslan. Ruslan had great AHL top six like ability, great in the shootout. He's going to be great in the open ice of the K. I haven't looked to see how much he's producing. I'm sure he is because he's got so much skill. But Ruslan is such a not want to say one dimensional, but he's such a I want to make a Philip Kurashev comparison
Yeah,
where he's going to give you nothing on the other end of the ice, and he's not going to drive play, and he's going to be useful when he has the puck. I think Shabanov is so much more than that.
agreed. I absolutely love his game. It just pops off the first time you say it. Like when Ishak, we only saw him a few times, but when he was in that playoff series against Carolina, he immediately looked like a fish out of water. Shabanov has never looked like that once. Not
That
once.
is also quite literally the worst team to ever play somebody like Ishakov against.
So I shouldn't go too hard on him. What about
Hey,
what
he's a
about you?
point per game player in his NHL career. 1 assist in his one game.
It's been, dude, with the young players, it's been dark because, like, I remember that dude 4 game against Boston. Like, he looked even worse. Like, he looked so out of place, and I
Oh
feel
yeah.
bad for the guy because that's his like, what did he play 10 NHL minutes?
Yeah, well, no, not enough people are talking about that. Well, yeah, he was a -2 in his one game he played. It was very funny. He was the last player to wear 14 before Horvat. Ridiculous, but that's what
Dude,
happened.
he wore 14.
Yeah, he wore 14 that season before we got
Unbelievable.
Horvat for the one game against the Bruins.
Yep.
I remember that because I was in the Bahamas at the time, and I was watching on my phone. It was awful,
I have a
but
Snapchat of the guy's rookie lap.
yeah, you gotta remember William Dufour, integral part of the Brock Nelson trade. That doesn't get
Oh
done without
yeah,
Dufour.
I forgot about that actually. Him and wait, who's the right-handed D man? Oh, Shillington.
Oliver Shillington, who I like, but he was never coming here.
Yeah. At MIG 1992, Romanov's arm was in a sling. I'm told. Yeah, this isn't a surprise. Um, I think it's going to be a very very long time before we see Romanov again. I personally wouldn't mind Darsh exploring the trade market a little bit here. I think that they're going to be thin on the left side, and I don't think Marshall Warren. Look, fun player to watch, fun guy to root for. He's a prospect. It's great that he's going to have some time up here, but I'm much more of an Isaiah George believer than Marshall Warren, given both sample sizes from last year. But if both aren't getting it done, and this team has the record that they have right now, ship off a third, a fourth,
Yeah.
something for a competent third pairing left-handed shot. What do you think, Dom?
Well, we haven't seen him yet. He's going to get the opportunity. They're not going to trade for somebody during the day off before our game Saturday, but I'm ready to give Warren an honest chance at that third lefty pair spot. he looked okay with D'Angelo. He picked up a
I
couple
wish it was
assists against Philly.
George.
Yeah, no, I do understand that, being that George is the homegrown player. He's got the wheels, and he's got the defensive stick. But I guess maybe we felt more confident, being that Marshall Warren played 4 years of I think he played 5 years of college hockey.
Yeah,
He's
he
more
did.
steady, he's a local kid. So I'm ready to give it a chance.
Yeah, George last year really impressed me in some really difficult spots.
Oh yeah,
Um,
we did this road trip. No, actually we did the Western Canada road trip with
yep.
George as a starter.
Yeah, I thought he held his own up until he got murdered by Max Domi in a random game
Yeah,
in
elbow
early
in
January.
the
So
head.
I
Yeah, that's right.
yeah, George would be my first choice, but he's concussed, so it's going to be Marshall Warren.
Mhm.
And if both aren't getting it done, I would say that the trade market, if they are still holding this kind of record in a race, like don't trade a first round draft pick. It's not what I'm saying, but like
Yeah.
just like a small soft buy.
But yeah, it's way easier to find a third pair left shot than it is to find a middle pair right shot, obviously.
Exactly. Go find me a Mike Riley or Scott Perunovich.
Fuck off, man.
Justin, time for an enforcer. This has been such a hot topic, and I personally would
I
love an
know.
enforcer,
Yeah.
but it's not going to happen on this team because the enforcer literally can't keep up with the pace of play that this team is
Yeah,
trying to
you could
play.
just rewrite that comment and just time for a, instead of the word enforcer, bad hockey player.
Yeah, like
That's basically what you're saying.
I do
Because
miss the era.
unless you're getting Garnet Hathaway or Matthew Olivier, who aren't
Tom Wilson
available, or Tom Wilson, who's also not available,
not available.
they don't make enforcers.
There has to be
Most enforcers can't play. That's the problem.
like what about like a Pospisil?
Martin Pospisil, well,
Is he an
yeah,
enforcer or is he just a pain in the neck?
I think he's an asshole. I don't think he's an enforcer. I think he's just an asshole.
That guy's an awesome player. He plays for the Calgary Flames. If you've
Yeah,
ever heard
yeah.
of him, you watch a
He's fun.
Flames game, he's flying. He's flying up and down
You'll
the
notice
ice.
him every shift, and most of his shifts end in the penalty box, not on the bench.
Yeah, Hathaway was a good shout, but I can't. It's just it's a dying breed in the NHL. So believe me, I would rather D'Angelo drop the mitts than Mayfield, just because like this team actually really needs steady
I'd rather
defensemen.
Lee, honestly, but
Lee, that's actually a good call.
because he's not producing.
Yeah, Wallstrom really missed his chance to be that guy on this team. He just could not. The problem is they can't keep up with this style of play. All right,
Well,
moving
he can't keep
on.
up in the A.
He can't. I was looking at his Barracuda
Yeah,
stats the
somebody
other day.
posted it. I was like, holy shit! I didn't even know he was on the Barracuda.
The picture, bro, it just looks like he's been through hell. Oh, Joe Horvat. What needs to happen for podcasters to respect the Islanders? Even now, everyone just says they are maybe a wild card team. Why? They just proved that they can beat any team.
This is a great
Um,
question.
I love this question because I'm actually in the very minority that picked them to be a playoff team prior to the season. And a lot of that had to do with not looking, if you look at the roster on paper, especially the defensemen, and see how their last several years have gone, it was obviously going to be an uphill climb. And with like some of the, like nobody knew what Shabunov was going to bring, Heineman, the projections were a lot different. But I felt like bringing in a guy like Schaefer to a team that is very, very tight knit was going to have a very, very positive effect intangibly, which I know people hate that word, but it seems to actually be having some life. And like when you're winning OT games on second half of back-to-backs with this kid scoring goals, when you win games like the other night where Riddick's flying all over the ice, like the chaos, like everything's just bringing them together. That's a really good question. What does need to happen to make people believe? Because I mean, 6-1-0 on this road trip.
I
It's
think to make people believe is just keep it up and have the power play start scoring.
the power play. Well, the PK, the
Power play had
PK is
11 shots tonight in 8 minutes. They had chances. They had possession. They gained the zone, just didn't score. But in regards to league wide, for people to start respecting the Islanders, people are paying attention to the Islanders. I don't
yeah,
know about the respect yet, because when you're getting glaze from a Bleacher Report, from the NHL account, from media in Europe, even you can't help but shout out what Schaefer's doing because it's so incredible. And I think being that nearly every gamble we took on players that weren't on the team last year that are now on the team. All of them are working right now, apart from the Romanov contract, and he's no longer in the lineup. So it's been a combination of things. And until people realize that even though we do surrender chances, the chances we're creating because of the dynamic forwards we have now, they're dangerous. They're dangerous chances.
Seeing them be able to put up 3 goals like with ease most of the time is it's pretty insane. I mean, I don't know where they rank in goals for, but man, it's got to be pretty high.
Yeah, it's definitely in the top half of the league for sure.
I would say to make people, I think personally speaking, like when I have this bet on them making the playoffs with our pod, like what makes me feel even better about it is actually Sorokin. When I see Sorokin starting to make difficult saves look easy, that's when I know the man's dialed in. And that's when I know that this team could steal points. And something I like is I don't think they've actually played their best hockey yet. Tonight was an example, obviously, good defensively, but they're still kind of working through things. And once they start actually out chancing other teams consistently, then more wins are going to come. Banking these points early on in the season have been massive. They believe they can win games when they're down 3-2 late in the third, when they're 3v4 in overtime, when they're on the second half of a back-to-back down a goal, getting outshot by 20. Those things build confidence along the way of a regular season. So I'm feeling pretty good on everything. I would agree that it'd be nice if other people can believe and maybe not talk about selling assets every time they win a game.
Hey, we're way better off when people think we suck. So I'm actually kind of okay with the media coverage we've been getting. Just kind of fly under the radar, be that sneaky team that's got some serious upside, and convince everybody that you're real. Prove that you're real.
I do think they're sneaking up on teams a little bit.
We are. Oh, by the way, we are 7th in the league in goals.
Yeah, we have to be
7th in goals for all situations, 9th in 5-on-5, and then power play is 27th, and we produce the 6th most shots on the power play. So
and second
most, if that balances out on the power play, if we start converting our chances, because we're creating the 6th most chances in the NHL, but we're 27th in goals. I mean, if that balances out even a little bit, this team can be a 4 or 5 goal a night team.
That's crazy. The power play, to me, it's still we've said it from the beginning of the season. It looks good, but they might have to make a personnel change to get some better shooters up there.
I think I know who you're suggesting should be off the power play.
I don't know if I want him off the power play, but just in a different spot. I'm talking about Drouin.
I think Palmieri off, Drouin goal line, and you put somebody else on the right flank. Obviously, a left shot, I would put Heineman.
Yeah, Drouin's really flown under the radar a little bit over the last he's been a little bit quiet recently, but just that pass in Vegas to get it to the top to Schaefer to Barzell, the way Drouin plays, he's just been awesome.
Very high IQ player.
Yeah, Palfy. I actually meant Holmstrom to line for LMAO.
Not the American?
Not the American. I know Casey played great tonight, but he's been pretty bad all year. He's had a really, really tough year, and I thought it would be better being next to a guy like Siplikov, and it just hasn't happened for him. I think you got to give this one time. Ethan Sears, a New York Post coverage of the Islanders, he actually wrote something on this the other day, which kind of starts to once the reporters start reporting on things like Cizikas only got this amount of ice time, he starts comparing it to Josh Bailey scratching from a few years ago. It's going to start building and building. I think we're actually getting a little bit closer. You had a 3-point night, so it's going to be a couple bad games in a row again, but the way it's gone this season, I don't think it's going to be too far off.
No, the fourth line's been great the last 3 nights. The last 3 games, rather.
Maddox Hockey's. What do we think of Drouin, Holmstrom, Barzell as the first line? We covered this, but we don't love it. I don't think
Holmstrom's the top 6er right now.
Yeah, I don't think that's been my biggest thing with Holmstrom. I think he's actually a good player, good defensively, good penalty killer, has a good shot, is skilled, but I don't understand what it is when I watch him, but something instinctively feels off.
I need to find a good comp for him. He's unique.
He's really unique.
He's got a ton of high-end skill. You see it in the shootouts. He probably has top 3 hands on the team, possibly the best hands, but has no interest in touching the puck in the offensive zone, has no interest in holding the puck on his stick, and absolutely has no interest in shooting.
Yeah,
despite having a really good shot.
he's a bizarre
It's
player.
yeah, it's so strange.
But something I do like about him, he could always rely on his play in his own zone, so he's good. He's good to have out there, but I agree with you. I don't think he has that top 6 in him
Yeah.
right now. Grace Clotter, everyone who doubted Heineman's skill based off last season alone forgot he was in caps, hit by a car. Love that. I did know about the car thing, and I had watched Heineman a little bit. I know he actually scored in a playoff game I was watching last year, and I was like, huh, who is this guy? And next thing I know, he's on the Islanders. But yeah, that's true. He was scoring at a pretty good pace before that injury, and now you
Yeah,
just wonder
so
how the car's doing.
I actually did a little bit of a check-in on that today. You know NYR Louis, he's a good guy. He's a Ranger guy, but he's a good guy. He's on Twitter. He knows his stuff. I did a check on Heineman, the 60 games prior to tonight, the 60 games he's played, meaning the first 40 of the season he played with Montreal before the car accident, and then the 20 he's played with us so far this year. So he'd be pacing on an 82 game season, pacing for 26 goals, 16 assists, 42 points, shooting 21%, which is high. That's high. He's probably not going to shoot 21% in an 82 game season, but he's gets his shots. And then obviously the physicality, 226 hits, 40 block shots for a forward. His when he's healthy, he's useful.
Yeah, it's incredible. That shooting percentage is going to lower, but
Yeah.
the other
Even if it
stuff
does, he should clear 20 this year easily.
easily. Yeah, I agree with that. We would have all signed up for that 100%. Me personally, I think Holmstrom and Pajot should be on the same line due to them having good chemistry and on the penalty kill. Yeah, we both completely agree.
Yeah.
Ruslan has 1 goal, 3 assists in his last 5 games. I just, with the amount of forwards this team has right now, I gotta be honest, I just don't care about.
He's not going to come back to the team unless he's going to play in the NHL, and I think that ship may have sailed. But
You
yeah,
know what?
no, there's no doubt. Ruslan has obviously he has skill.
I forgot that he actually was still technically in the organization. Reason I asked about Ruslan versus Shavanov question is because I think Lou buried the kid and didn't get the right opportunity to flourish.
We were trying to make a playoff push, and
That's the
they
problem.
didn't have the luxury to plug him in games that didn't matter. That's the problem.
I thought that they were nice giving him a game or two against Carolina. I don't think
you
he
remember?
deserved that.
Yeah, no, I don't know why he made the playoff roster. I forgot who was hurt, but I remember he played the last game of the year because I was there. It was against the Penguins. Lee missed the game because he was having his kid.
Right, I
And
remember that
Ruslan
now.
played, and we played 7 defensemen. That was Romanov covered the puck in the crease at the end of the game. Crosby had a penalty shot because of it.
Right.
Sorokin saved it, and we won the game. I think like 6-5 or 7-6. It was a crazy game, and it wound up being Jeff Carter's last game.
Jeff Carter. Yep, I remember that now. We were like saluting him off the ice.
Yeah.
He killed us.
Classy ass Islanders.
So Ruslan has 7 points in his last 10 games. I think the amount of rookies we've gotten this year that are severely valuable, Richie, Schaefer, and upcoming Eiserman and Eklund, we would need an enforcer to sign or trade someone. It's just not going to happen in this. When Patrick Waugh is no longer the coach of the Islanders and they don't play this system in which it's great if you have ADHD, there's always action, the puck's flying around everywhere.
Yep.
But my God, it is like these enforcers, like a guy like Rempe, for example, we hate him. He wouldn't be able to keep up. Wallstrom, Siplikov has trouble keeping up. And it's just, you just need gifted skaters to flourish in this system.
Well, you know who's going to be the next guy to chuck them of the future. It's the guy playing in Barrie right now.
Prokhorov.
Kashan Aitchison.
Oh, right. Aitchison. Yes. Prokhorov.
I wish Prokhorov came over and played in the O.
Yeah, and Aitchison. Wait, no, Aitchison's in the O. We wanted him to play college, though.
I'm fine with him in the OHL. He's only 18. Maybe he'll play college next year. He's still at least 2 years away. Defenseman that's normal for defensemen. Schaefer's not normal.
Yeah, it's crazy. Mick, 1992. Pavel Mintyukov.
Pavel Mintyukov, former 10th overall pick of the Ducks in the Bedard draft, I want to say.
So the Anaheim Ducks
might have been the year before.
They're a team that I appreciate their forward group. They're really good. They're fun to watch now. But over the last 5-6 years, You're not going to catch me watching an Anaheim Ducks game. It's the brand. It's just everything about them there was just nothing. There was nothing there for me. I know nothing about this player. Do you have anything?
Yeah, he's offensive defenseman. He led the OHL in scoring in his last year prior to joining the team. Big time prospect, top 10 pick, obviously lottery pick. He's disgruntled with his role because they've got a pretty crowded left side. Definitely an offensive guy. I guess they like Olin Zellweger better. They obviously have Lacombe on that left side. And then they have I think they have Trouba, Gudis, and I forget who else. They have that other guy, Hellison, who they like, and some other dude has jumped in front of him. He's been serving as a healthy scratch, and this is a lottery pick. This is a big time prospect. He wants to play.
Ian Moore.
He can play.
Is it Ian Moore?
Ian Moore is the guy. Yeah, the guy who's made the team out of camp and kind of jumped Minchukov in the lineup.
Scored game winner late last night.
Yeah, no, everything's going well for the Ducks right now. It's crazy. But Pavel Mintyukov is obviously he's got the Russian connection. He's a left shot. We have a hole on the left side right now, but obviously that would be more so a long-term fit because he's 22. So I don't see us trading for him. We definitely have to give something up. His value is lower than it probably should be right now, but I like the player. I don't think we go after him. Am I for